Hi people, it's me again, obviously, Moreno Ravenberg. Yeah, you can tell based on the header, I'm going to do another mind delving session, and this time it's going to be on something that I'm personally also curious about, albeit superficially. It's going to be about the Dyatlov Pass incident. Now, for those of you that don't know what the Dyatlov Pass incident is about, I strongly recommend that you check out the Wikipedia page linked in the description below, or the video. I'm going to post a video as well, a short video, and as short a video as possible explaining what the Dyatlov Pass incident is about. So again, if you haven't watched that video, I strongly recommend that you come back and watch that first, or read about it first. You just have to gloss over it. You don't have to like familiarize yourself with it in detail. And then come back and watch this video if you're seriously interested. Either way, for those of you that are already familiar with it, or simply say, hey, it's okay, I'm going to give you a summary. If that's enough for you, then great. In any case, Dyatlov Pass incident, long story short, it's about a group of Russian hikers that were in the Russian wilderness, and of course it was snowing all around, etc. They were like around Siberia or something like that. In any case, they were in the Russian wilderness. Everything is icy cold, sub-zero temperatures, you name it. And they were simply camping somewhere, and they were hikers. They were hiking on their way to something. I don't know exactly what they were doing there, the scientists, etc., what they were doing in the wilderness. But a while after they were not heard from anymore, their bodies were found, their dead bodies, obviously, strewn about in different positions. And up to present day, authorities have no idea what happened, because the bodies were in a horrible condition. They were like mutilated, a couple of them. A couple of other things were missing. It just goes on. And again, up to present day, the authorities have no idea. They simply call it, it's officially listed, the cause of death is listed as, I think, pressure or interaction with an unknown compelling force. That's literally what they use. Cause of death, unknown compelling force. But for the rest, they have no idea, and there is no logical explanation. So it's baffled people that are interested in this story up to present day. No one has any idea what happened at the Dyatlov Pass incident. You name it. And of course, you can expect a lot of like so-called conspiracy theories, if they're that, aliens, you name it, Bigfoot, a bunch of things, okay? But why I'm personally interested in this case, by the way, FYI, I'm telling you about it so that you're aware of it, and why I'm also interested in it. Of course, this as a horror fan, so to speak, this is right up my alley. I also thought it was fascinating because I've seen back in the day, like years ago, I saw several documentaries, short documentaries on the Dyatlov Pass incident. And I said to myself, yeah, that's interesting, I think one of the dead bodies was missing like a toe, another guy was missing his genitals. Everything was like almost was cut off with surgical precision or something. One body was burnt, or most bodies were burnt. The whole thing doesn't add up, It's almost like a hypothetical, impossible scenario. These people died, these hikers or scientists or whatever they were, they died under almost impossible circumstances. So they essentially, in terms of cause of death and the way they died, there is no logical explanation for it in any given way, shape, or form. It's like, imagine someone in Africa, for example, in like one of the hottest countries in Africa, in the wilderness, literally freezing to death. The temperature by default is like 36 to 40 degrees. And yet the person freezes to death. You tell me if that makes any sense. They find the person, and the person was like encased in a block of ice. And all indicators indicate that the person froze to death, and it's in the middle of nowhere, the African savannah, and there is literally no logical explanation for it. There is no way to explain it. The person couldn't have fallen out of an airplane. There were no flights going over that region. The person was simply a hiker or an adventurer or someone like that. The person essentially had no contacts with anyone. There are no vehicles or cars driving to that location. That's my point. Okay, in that same context, the same way that you can explain about this guy, as in how can this happen? How can someone literally die from hypothermia or just freezing to death, being encased in a block of ice in a climate that is like essentially unknown to man, an unknown location, temperature is the exact opposite of the person's cause of death. It would also be something that would baffle anyone. There is no logical explanation for it. Okay, you literally hear that, scientists have ruled out every explanation. There are no vehicles, there is nothing, no flights going over there. You can't say, hey, the guy fell out of an airplane or something. Or they froze the guy solid in like a freezer and then they drove him all the way there to dump him. It wouldn't even make sense. But even that is not possible because it's literally the wilderness, as in the jungle. There are no roads there. There is literally no way that any car can make it even below halfway to there. So now you know what I mean. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a very similar situation. And there have been one or two horror movies that they've made about the Dyatlov Pass incident, just called Dyatlov, I think, or by the same name, the Dyatlov Pass incident. In English, it's called Dyatlov Pass incident, of course. But yeah, native Russian is like Dyatlov. And it's simply like something that boggles the mind. And that's what I also liked about it. The horror movie that I watched, in that horror movie, there was some kind of underground portal or something like that, and that's how they died. The movie was an entertaining movie. By the way, if you want to watch that movie, then I'm going to see if I can find it. If I can find it, then check the link in the description below. If you don't see a link, then I didn't find it. But you can stream it for free if you just want to watch a movie that's worth watching if you've got nothing better to do. Movies like a 6 or 6.5 on a scale of 0 to 10. But yeah, that's what the Dyatlov Pass incident is about, and obviously it's like, wow. So I'm also curious and wondering why these guys died, or how they died. What is it exactly that killed them? Because their deaths might also be occult in nature, and that's why it's unexplainable. So anyways, I'm going to get going, and for the sake of presentation, good to go. Maybe good to go for them Dyatlov Pass incident. Yeah. So yeah, let me just really briefly take care of the level of self-awareness, gear myself up astrally. Not that I need to, but a matter of speaking. Now, I'll be counting down from 10 to 0, and when I do so, I will see in explicit and extravagant detail and in the highest quality what happened at the Dyatlov Pass incident. I will see what the cause of death was for the Russian hikers that were in the Russian wilderness, or regardless of where the Dyatlov Pass incident took place, which is obviously near the Dyatlov Pass or at the Dyatlov Pass. I will see what the reason is that these hikers died and how they died, and anything else that essentially gives me information in terms of unraveling the mystery regarding the Dyatlov Pass incident. I want to see what happened. Show me in detail what happened. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, go. Okay, typical burrowing deep underground again. Typical burrowing deep underground, and that indicates obviously that the hikers are dead, that they died. One of the hikers, he thought that he was attacked by huge wolves, but that's not the case. That's his imagination. Because of what happened, essentially, he was in a chaotic state of mind and he was delusional as a result. Now, do not show me from a first-person perspective. Show me from a neutral perspective what happened. I do not want to be in the bodies of one of these people or view how things happen through the lens of a hiker. Show me from a neutral perspective. Show me everything, and show me everything in clear detail. Okay. 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 Okay, now let me see it from the perspective of the hikers. And I want to see it in a rational manner. I want to see what happened before, during, and after in relation to their state of mind. Let me see it through the eyes of a hiker that is completely mentally coherent, or the most mentally coherent. Okay. Okay. Now show me in detail, explain what in text, what happened specifically. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else of interest? Okay. 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 That's enough. Stop. End session. Okay. Now, what I got in terms of what I saw, as well as analyzing everything in detail, is that the hikers died because the area was haunted. There was a glacial spirit, an ice spirit that is quite malevolent in nature, whose territory they went into essentially. And yeah, he essentially killed them. The ironic thing is that this malevolent glacial spirit, this ice spirit, he specializes in fire, and that's why the bodies were like burnt and or mutilated in a similar fashion. What else can I say? So yeah, that's it. His name is Finnbog. I think Finnbog means the end of God or something like that. Finnbog. I need to look up what the name means, but yeah, he's a big bitch of a spirit, and yeah, he essentially killed them, and if I'm not mistaken, not everybody died. There was either one or multiple survivors, most likely one survivor or something. But yeah, that is left to be desired, honestly. If one person did survive, then I don't think that they said or did anything. I didn't focus all too much on that, but I did notice that as far as I could tell, not everyone was killed. One of them survived. There was a survivor. So he was essentially going through his territory, this guy, Finnbog, and he saw them. It's like a wild animal, essentially, being territorial. And I saw it from the perspective of the hikers, or better said, the hiker that was the most mentally sound. And you just heard like a really shrill screech, like a banshee-like screech, like really a truly horrific screech. And I felt literally how my spine started like shaking. It's like when you're terrified. It's from the perspective from those hikers. So I was like in the body of one of these hikers, and it just, the second that screech was outside, like a really horrific screech, the kind that you hear in horror movies that literally just makes your ass like jump up. And immediately I felt, I think it was a woman, I felt her like shiver. But I'm not sure. In any case, I felt the hiker who, in relation to whose body I inhabited temporarily, so to speak, I felt them shiver literally. They were like out of pure fear. And yeah, the rest is history. One of them looked outside, they saw this guy, and all hell broke loose. They tried fleeing, and he pretty much killed almost all of them. And I felt how much one of the hikers, when they died, how much on fire they were, like really like burnt to a crisp, in a matter of speaking. And yeah, that's why there's no information, obviously nothing. How the fuck are you gonna investigate a haunting? That's what happened essentially at the Dyatlov Pass. Interesting. Now I know. I briefly suspected that as one of the possibilities. I was like, if it's not fucking aliens, then it's something else. But yeah, a haunting, yeah. Everything, I saw everything in it, yeah. Everything does add up, everything makes sense. You know, after he killed him, he simply went about his day. He literally just he just disappeared back into the background, and that's all, you know. I mean, yeah, what else can I say? I'm trying to briefly think about the details. Yeah, this guy was also very hostile. The second I was there, more or less, or a minute after I was there and he saw my presence, he was immediately very hostile. I had to like push him off and be like, hey, calm the fuck down. Because I commanded, and that's how he's manageable. And yeah, that's it essentially. His name is Finnbog. Also, it could also be Finnbogason, but he said you can simply call me Finnbog. And yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. If there is anything else, I'll simply add it in a pinned comment section, and a pinned comment in the comment section. That's all, guys. Bye. Now you know what happened with the Dyatlov Pass incident.